just come on and talk about embodying goddess energy because this is the month of June and this is her month. um, I pulled a card for all of us. Enter the chamber of healing. I have Isis Oracle, which is no coincidence, but enter the chamber of healing. A spiritual gift of healing is coming to you now. Be open without expectation or preconceived notions and allow the healing energy to help you find the best solution for any situation that does not appear as it should be. Expect your miracle. So I don't know about y'all, but this is amazing to me because I am definitely, this is what the front of it looks like. Enter the chamber of healing. And I don't know about anybody else, but that is the space that I am in right now, is entering into the chamber of healing. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this beautiful goddess. This is Goddess Isis or Aset. And she is an amazing goddess. She has throne energy. So Isis name literally means throne. And so she is a person that she is the queen. She is the throne. She symbolizes sovereignty and rightful power. And so, what this looks like for me is trusting my inner knowing and stop second guessing myself constantly. Stop looking for approval outside of me, and I'm speaking to myself, but if it applies, grab it. And so, what I would do today is I would decide on something. I would make a decision. And then I would pause. And then I would ask, what do I know is right? And whatever it is, follow it. And so I wanted to actually talk about this goddess because one of the things that this goddess says is you nurture yourself without losing yourself. So, one thing about the goddess Isis, she is the ultimate mother archetype, but not in a draining way. So, what that means for you is that, and I, is that we care for ourselves as well as others. And I know that being an empath, sometimes that is hard because you're so busy caring for everyone else that you're not caring for yourself. You also respond with compassion instead of judgment. And so, to me, that means that at times when you feel overwhelmed, you ask, what do I need right now? Not tomorrow, not yesterday, but right now. And so this goddess is also associated with wisdom, magic, and sacred knowledge. And so what this looks like is you listen to your gut, you trust subtle feelings, you don't override your intuition because y'all know what? We do that so much, especially as women. We override our intuition. We say, oh no, the first instinct is the one that you're going to take. Because after that, you gave yourself time to think about it and to mull over it and, do all these things instead of trusting what first comes to you. And another thing that this goddess is transformation and rebirth. So she governs life, death, and rebirth cycles. And so what that looks like is you allow change instead of resisting it. You let old versions of you fall away. You don't cling to who you used to be. So, I'm going to tell a little story and I'm going to share um, how I've shifted in this frequency. So, a couple of years ago, my husband and I went to New Orleans. We live in the US. And so we went to New Orleans. My mother in law at the time was in Mississippi, which is a couple of hours away. So we flew into New Orleans and we stayed in New Orleans and we rented a car. We drove down to Mississippi to see my mother in law. And when we did that, I happened to leave my purse in a gas station, is where we figured out I left it. And so I'm freaking out, as people do, because I had all of my documents. I had all of my license, I had both my husband and I's passports in there. I had my husband's badge from his work. I had lots of things in that bag because I carry a backpack. It's just easier on my back. And so I'm freaking out. My husband is trying to calm me down, and he actually did. And I actually went to sleep. We woke up the next morning, and a policeman called and said that he had my bag. Everything was in it but the money. And we were okay with that because all of the documents were there, all of the credit cards, everything that was in the bag was in the bag. And so I was grateful for that, but I knew that was a situation in a time when I had not passed that test. Y'all know how that is. We have, tests that happen. Hello, thank you for joining, ladies. We have things that come upon us, and things that happen, and we know that those things are tests. But at the time, it's how I reacted. So fast forward to now, somebody stole my pocket. I mean my phone, and so this time though, y'all, let me tell you, I acted as the goddess Isis probably would have acted. I was so calm that I scared myself. I think I scared my husband too, because I was so calm, because I said, you know what? What do we need to do? Okay, we need to shut it off. And we did. We shut it off so that way whoever had it couldn't access it. And then, we ordered another phone. And even through this, even through all of the days and days that, I haven't had my phone, y'all know how it is. Our phones are our life. Everything's in it. And if we're content creators like I am, and like probably a lot of you, we have all this content in our phone. We have all our pictures and all our videos and different things. But you know what? I did not stress. And not even over the days, because this happened Saturday night. And so I actually just got the new phone just in. I haven't even activated it or anything yet. We haven't done anything yet. It just came in. So, but I was actually at peace. And my husband actually said, wow, maybe you're at peace. I said, I am. I said, I didn't even stress. And to be honest, I thought these days without the phone has been actually wonderful. I didn't have to answer it. I didn't have to respond to anybody. And I just let people know that, that I normally talk to, my phone was stolen, and that, I had to wait till another one comes in, and I'll reach out to you then, or not, or maybe you will reach out to me. I don't know. But I just thought it was just the most amazing thing that I have stepped into this frequency and embodied, that I knew that everything was going to work out. I knew that it was going to all be okay. I knew that, because this is the frequency that I'm in. I'm in this frequency where I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what's going on out here in the world, but this is where I am. I'm in the space where I know that everything is always working out for me. And no matter what it looks like, this is the space. And so, as I started studying about this beautiful goddess, and I started looking at, the characteristics that she has. And when I started seeing that, and I started seeing some of the things, actually some of the stuff started coming back to me from childhood, even, of how I am and how I was. And of course, different from most people, I mean, really outside of the box child. I mean, I was probably, um, that child, I was outside of the box. I know this, but I realized that I was, because I have always embodied this goddess. Even as a child, we watched, I don't know how old you are, but we watched Superman, I mean, Shazam. We watched Shazam and Almighty Isis. And I used to be Almighty Isis. My cousin was Shazam, and I was Almighty Isis. And we used to jump off the top of the buildings, I mean, off the top of the house, and, stuff like that. And, it was just amazing how we did. But I realize now that even all these 50 years later, y'all, 50 years later, that I was already embodying her even back then. And so the characteristics that she has, and the things that I'm stepping into, and the frequencies that I'm in, because I'm telling you, it could have been bad because y'all know everything's in your phone and all this. And I actually went back in the place to see if I could find it, and I couldn't. And we put Find Your Phone on from my husband's phone, and we actually tried to track it down to this place, and we actually ended up. This is another part. We ended up seeing some police officers when we were looking for the phone. You got to know this is 2 o'clock in the morning or so, 1 o'clock or something. Anyway, we're tracking down and we see some police officers now looking how we look. There was a little small twinge of, just a little bit of fear, because, of all the things that are going on around the world with, that group of people and, people that look like me. And so, but I didn't, I still got out the car and I went and talked to the officers. Me and my girlfriend actually were there and my husband was there, but he stayed in the car and we knew why. And we knew that was the move. And so we walked and we talked to them and the officer told us, what to do. And if we needed to file a claim, he told us we could do it online, blah, 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 all this stuff. We really didn't need to do that because we don't get that insurance because it's not worth a damn no way. So, if you lose it, you just buy another phone. It's easier than paying whatever it is every month to deal with that. So, um, but it was such a time that I recognized, and even in that moment, I realized and I recognized, who I was and that I was embodying this beautiful, wonderful goddess. And the thing is people think that when you embody this goddess, and you can actually embody anybody's spirit that you want to. You can. I have embodied Maya Angelou's spirit when I write, because I love her writing and I love the way that she wrote and I loved her spirit as a person. And so I have. And so you can do this. And so as I realized this, and I realized that I was actually embodying this beautiful goddess in the way that I reacted, because y'all, me, I freak out with things like that. And I realized too that this was also something for me that I recognized in the past. I would have really, really, really freaked out because I have had this thing about losing things and about people taking things and stealing from me. And I didn't realize how deep it was until these things started happening to me. And then I realized that not they weren't happening to me, they were happening for me so that I could elevate, so that I could come to a different place and be in a different space, and so that nothing would, you know, knock me off my guard. Nothing would knock me into a place where I was acting like somebody that I wasn't. And I hope y'all are picking up what I'm putting down, because that is the thing. It's like, it's as long as you stay in this place, you know, with God, source, universe, you stay in this place with God, source, universe, that you know who you are. You have begun to remember who you are. You've begun to remember it. And so, on that note, I have this amazing, amazing, amazing membership. And it's called Remember Who the Fuck You Are, where you get a chance to remember who you are. And included in it is an Remembrance Oracle. It is your own personal GPT, only in my membership. So I would love to invite you to come. I have a workshop, Permission Revoked, where we're going to talk about all things permission. And I also share the membership as well in this. And I'm super excited to present these things. I have some workshops that are coming up as well. You too, Sheila. Because it's time. It's so time for us to be in these frequencies, in these places where, things are not rocking us, just for no reason. And I used to pride myself on not getting rocked by things. But I believe that as I've gotten older and as I've gotten rocked by more things, then that was something that I had to really sit down and get my notebook, y'all, and journal. I had to journal on it. I really did. I had to really go into it. I had to do some journaling on it. I had to do some tapping on it. Y'all, if y'all are not tapping is amazing. And one thing I can share about is the way that I tap is I tap affirmations. So I tap the affirmations in there. I am a goddess. 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 I am a supreme being. Whatever it is that you need to say that particular day. And so that's how I do tapping with affirmations. I actually saw this beautiful young lady share that, and I just pushed it on for myself and did how it works for me. And this is what I encourage people to do. Look at, read other people's stuff, look at other people's things, follow people if you want to, but never outsource your own intuition. So if you're watching something and somebody's doing something and it comes to you to do it a different way, do it a different way. Do it a different way. Just do it a different way. And it's okay, and make it okay. That's the thing. Because everybody wants to, you want to see what Gabby Bernstein is doing, and you want to see what, Laura Ingalls is doing, and you want to see what Abraham Hicks is doing, and you want to see, what Suzanne Giesman is doing. And that is great. And those are wonderful things. And all of those people, you know what I'm saying? But don't outsource your own intuition. Listen and hear what they're saying, but allow yourself the space to hear what God is speaking to you. Hear what your angels and your guides are speaking to you. I can't stress that enough. And I have done it, y'all. I have outsourced my intuition, my own intuition. I've outsourced it, but I'm not doing that anymore. And I'm sharing with you all not to do that to yourself. And I've seen it. I've done it. I paid thousands of dollars in courses and programs and coaching and all of these things. But you know what? None of it can replace your own intuition and the things that God is telling you to do. I'm telling you, because I actually started a podcast because God said to start it. God spoke to me and said, start a podcast. And I was like, what are you talking about? I can't start no podcast. I don't know nothing about that. I do not know how to do those things. I was a nurse for 32 years. I know how to do that stuff. And so God said, start it. And when he said started, it was years ago before there were podcasting. Now there are podcasting courses. Everybody and their grandma got a podcasting course. They have podcasting groups. They have podcasting networks. There's all these things now. But back when I started, there was none of that. There was none of that. There was a few videos from a few folks that told you, the basics on how to start it and all that kind of stuff. But that was really about it. So I did it. I started it, and I started it on Facebook Live when Facebook was up and down, where you couldn't even go side by side. You had to be up and down. And I would do the live videos like that and interview people, and then I would download it, and then I would upload it to YouTube. Yeah, it was a lot of work. And so I would do these things, and I would reach out to people and then go back and forth 50,000 times trying to get all their stuff so that I would have their bios and their links and all these things until, you know what? I went on, and then I learned how to create a page so that, and put it in a scheduler so that people can schedule, so I don't have to be involved in that part of it. So I learned as I've gone and I've grown, and now, I'm here at this space where I have my podcast right here on Substack. So straight out of Savannah, where the magic happens, is right here on Substack. And I'm so grateful, for this space. And I'm so grateful for all of you. And also for our beautiful goddess, Isis or Iset. All right, so that is all I have today for you, ladies. And if there are any gentlemen, I would love if you would just make sure that you like this and that you share it to other people that need to hear it, and make sure that you come back, because I'll be live again today, probably maybe tomorrow, possibly Saturday, but I'll be live again. And I just, I'm going to continue to talk about this. I have some more stuff to share about this particular goddess, and I have some stories to share to help us to integrate and to relate, because I know that, I love the stories because I love to read, and that's why I'm here on Substack, which is crazy because I'm on here on Substack, but right now I'm doing a live. But anyway, thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you. And I hope that your day is magical and that, you're having a beautiful day like I am. Because here in the Pacific Northwest, the sun is shining and I live about 3 minutes from the ocean. So, going to check out the beach a little bit later. So, again, I really appreciate all of you being here and make sure that you check out my, make sure that you check out my, page. My podcast, Straight Out of Savannah, where the magic happens. And if you want to watch it on YouTube, you can watch it there too. You can follow me on YouTube at Intuitive Tammy as well. So again, thank you. I appreciate you for being here, Sheila. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful rest in I'm gonna try to say this name, Jyoti. Okay, I'll try to say that. But have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.